Hello everybody, Michael the Librarian of Magic here, finding and cataloging the magical and pointing you to it. Today is the 8th of October. I've got another villain for today, continuing on with our third season of the Disney Villain a Day series. And so I'm just going to get right to the drawing as we go along here. Today's drawing is the Stabbington Brothers from the film Tangled, 2010. This image here is actually drawn from the animated series, which was originally called Tangled the series in the first season, and then became renamed Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure. I just liked the image. Normally, I try to go straight from the original film, but I liked this one. It seemed like interesting to draw, so I gave it a try. In both cases, the film and the TV show, where they have a minor recurring role, they are, essentially mercenary bad guys. They once worked with Flynn Rider, one of the main protagonists of the movie, and as shown in the film, they're on this heist at the beginning to try to steal this crown from the palace, and they basically get away with it, but it's because Flynn betrays them. They give him like this boost to get over a wall, and then he abandons them there and kind of double crosses them. So they're after him for the rest of the movie, and eventually the Stabbington Brothers end up running into Mother Gothel, and she tells them all about Rapunzel's hair and its power, and convinces them they want to capture her, and that's kind of essentially what they do, or at least that's kind of how what they attempt to do. And then towards the end of the movie, they end up back in jail again with Flynn, and then they tell Flynn how they encountered Mother Gothel and what she had said about Rapunzel's hair, and that allows Flynn to put two and two together about who Mother Gothel's really is, that she's bad, etc. And he kind of goes and helps save the day with Rapunzel in the end. So yeah, they're just kind of like these mercenary thieves. They're basically thuggier versions of Flynn Rider himself. They were eventually given nicknames in the animated series, Sideburns and Patchy. You can tell in the drawing, which one's which, pretty obviously. They're both credited as being voiced by Ron Perlman, although Sideburns is really the only one that talks. Ron Perlman, you may recognize, he's got a really distinct face and a really distinct voice, and as such, he's got a pretty cool and varied career because of that, because he's got a really unique look and sound in both voiceover and live action stuff. He, for Disney, was in a live-action movie called The Adventures of Huck Finn that some people may know from the 90s with Elijah Wood as Huckleberry Finn. And he had a bit role in that as Pop Finn. But he's been in a bunch of other movies and TV shows. He was in the late 80s, early 90s, he was in a popular TV show called Beauty and the Beast. It was actually showrun and largely written by George R.R. Martin, the same author of the Game of Thrones stuff. And it's a pretty interesting show. I don't know how it holds up. I haven't seen it in a long time. It probably is a little, especially the special effects, are probably a little corny by today's standards, but you can tell why they casted Ron Perlman in that show. He's got that unique look. And then he's also worked with Guillermo del Toro, the award-winning director, many times. He was in Blade 2, the Pacific Rim, this movie called Kronos, which was like Guillermo del Toro's first theatrical film, which is kind of a vampire movie of sorts. Hellboy and Hellboy 2, the Golden Army. He was in both of those movies because he played Hellboy. He's just been involved with these Guillermo del Toro projects over the years. He gets invited to be in a lot of those. He had a great role that I enjoyed in a show called Sons of Anarchy. He plays a character named Clay. He's really great in that, kind of dirty and underhanded and a lot of stuff, because he's just very distinctive that way. A lot of those things that I just mentioned are really not, for younger viewers, so viewer discretion advised on a bunch of that stuff, except for The Adventures of Huck Finn. That's probably pretty family friendly, but the rest of that stuff, viewer discretion is advised on a lot of Ron Perlman's work. I would say even including Beauty and the Beast. There's a lot of mature themes in that, even though it aired on, basic cable back in the 80s. It's got its moments. It's not, it's more, I don't know how to say, but it's more of a modern take on the story, so it's not super, fantasy fairy tale style. You just sort of have to check it out to see what I'm talking about. But anyway, he also voiced the Stabbington Brothers, or Sideburns at any rate, in the movie and in the show, the animated show. They kind of are, I guess they're basically bad in the movie, but because they sort of start and end where Flynn Rider does, they also have a character development or a change of heart the way that he does. There's a Disney short or a short film called Tangled Ever After, which they released after the movie, which shows the wedding of Flynn and Rapunzel, and the Stabbington Brothers are present. They were invited to the wedding, and they're shown to be weeping and happy for the couple. So you get the impression that they've kind of turned things around. The animated show takes place in between, after the ending of the film and before the animated series, so they're still essentially bad at that point. They're still trying to get revenge on Flynn in the episodes that they're featured in, but eventually, from the short, it seems they kind of come around and change their ways to a certain extent. But they're just sort of really fun, thuggy-looking characters. I like drawing Patchy with the eye patch. That was especially kind of one of the things that attracted me to the image to pick it out. And I wanted to talk a little bit about Ron Perlman because I really like his work. It's worth seeking out if you are, into those sorts of projects. Check out some of the stuff I mentioned and see if it's up your alley. Some of it is a little bit darker, some of it is a little heavier, but if you're into some of that stuff, if you decide you like some of that stuff, he's really great. He's a great actor. So, this is sort of a little shorty. That's what I found out about the film and the show a little bit, and a little bit of stuff about Ron Perlman, the Stabbington Brothers, Sideburns, and Patchy. Thanks as always for watching these. I hope that you enjoyed this. I'll be back tomorrow with another one, so join me then when I continue on with another Disney villain every day for the rest of October. Until then, I hope you have a great day. Take care.